So let's get more into, getting ready, prepared for calling your demon. Am I actually going to show you how to do it? Guess what? They're already here. When you start magic, literally about just outside your aura, spirits are gathering. You start to light up on the grid. So if you're if you like, okay, I want to use my intuition, I want to start meditating, ground center, you automatically start to change frequencies, dial in, show up on their grid. Your energy signature all of a sudden lights up. uh, you're not watching a movie, you're not eating food, you're not going to work, you're not being 3D, you're not being horizontal, you're starting to go vertical. And so there's these different levels and dimensions. And there's also different ways to light up. Being born, you light up. Dying, you light up. Going under severe conditions, you light up. So there's accidental ways that you're already summoning entities around you, gathering them. And so uh, the reality is needing to learn a ritual and a formula isn't necessary to summon your first demon, your first familiar, your spirits. So just recently, took my roommate's dog for a walk. We went into nature. Uh, my, I always take the dog to put its paws in the river, and it helps cleanse her because she's absorbing a lot of negative energy being around the other owners. So for her own well-being, I give her grounding time, time around trees, time around the sun, and time in the water. So she's being exposed to the four elements. And so she's purifying and preparing herself. And so because I go with her, obviously I'm purifying and cleansing myself with the four elements. Um, but anyways, on one occasion we came home, and then my bedroom was filled with fairies, like little nature sprites and spirits. And so it was just out of my periphery, just kind of out of range. I could see all these like gossamer wings flapping and fluttering about, and see all these like lights moving around my room, dancing around in different ways, and hear little sounds like brushing up against the wall and the things that they ran into. And I swear there was probably 15 little like sprites, little fairies hanging out with us. And I naturally attracted them because I was in their environment. I was in a positive mood. I was doing something loving and kind. I was a free spirit, and I was high vibrational. And so you attract beings all the time. Your emotional moods can attract and repel, invite and dismiss. So for angels aren't going to be around when you're negative, when you're abusing someone, when you're thinking horrible thoughts about yourself or other people. An angel really isn't going to come hold you when you choose to wallow in self pity and grief and trauma, which is kind of sad, but it's an energy dynamic. They literally live at a different vibration and a different frequency. So you're not really dialing in, you're not calling them, you don't have their exclusive emergency phone number. They're not rescuing you like that. Instead, you rescue yourself. Instead of, so when you're in a horrible place, you can't dial that number correctly, and they're not going to really do it for you. And it depends, okay? So I've been in a bad place and then had, sometimes you will be sent a rescuer. I've been sent a rescuer a few times to remind me when I was absorbed in some dark headspace that wasn't real. That was an illusion. Uh, so, but, so you're always, I'm just saying, the whole idea that you need to learn a specific ritual to summon a deity, an angel, a higher ranking demon, that's not true. Because the reality is they've already been watching you. A high ranking demon or angel, um, I worked with both, okay? So I feel very blessed to have a natural connection with the spirit world. That natural connection got refined through the study of magic, through the practice of magic. But then, at the end of the day, it comes down to, who am I? What am I really about in this world? What do I really want for myself? And like probably every so often I have to reevaluate. I'm like, yeah. I mean, I might watch this really cool video and I'm like, yes, I would love to be the boss and have all this money and all my bills paid and feel free, and then I'm like, is that really what I'm about? I mean, I'd really like this knowledge over here. And I'm like, and then, or I might get sucked into someone else's drama. And they'll be like, I'm like, oh my gosh, so tempting. All I have to do is summon this demon and ruin someone's life because I'm a vengeful bitch like that. And then I'm like, do I really want to come back to Earth? Do I really want to get enmeshed? You've been to counseling. Are you actually going to apply what the therapist told you to do? Are you going to be a good human being? So, despite your spiritual context and your contacts and the things you can do, uh, would you be uh, not growing in the direction? Would you not be an authentic core to your being by participating in magical wars, ego, and all sorts of things? So I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm more of a wizard. I thought I was maybe more something else, but it's really about pursuing knowledge, uh, is what I'm about. So I'm like, guess I don't need to be fighting that battle. I have to sit this one out. So there's a lot going on. Let me push pause. I think the battery's almost dead. All right. I think the cord is in. We've been having problems. This phone is so outdated. Anyways, moving on. So, yes, you have a real human life. You have an ego, you have a personality, and you have a direction you need to go. And your pursuit of magic and spirits can definitely help you on that path, but most likely it's not. Okay, so moving on. So, what you need to have under your belt before you get really serious with attracting larger entities, uh, for summoning and whatever, is you need to have a really strong willpower. People who really know who they are and what they want out of life and are getting those things and have already got those things have enough, what I call it, yes power. They have enough experience to know that, yes, I'm good at this, I can do that. Yes, I know I love this, and it's really easy to say yes to these things because they're so true to themselves. And on the opposite side, no. Like, so just the other day, this one lady who does magic and whatever, she's like, oh, I've always wanted a gay friend. You're going to be that gay friend for me. And I went, no, I'm not. I'm like, you don't know me. I rather talk to spirits than you. Okay, so I had to flat out correct her. If you can't be bold in the world, if you can't put people in their place, if you can't stand up for yourself, if you can't speak your truth, if you're not willing to take a hit for what you believe in, if you can't advocate for yourself, uh, that shows me, that shows you, you're not really ready to stand up to a larger entity like a god or a goddess, okay? Or a demon or an angel, especially of the higher ranking, okay? So, big disclaimer, what you're probably playing with isn't what you think it is, okay? It's not, it's what I like to call gutter trash. It's people that really were kind of nasty, that didn't have enough personal willpower, not enough energy to know what to do when they were dead. And so they're kind of rotting and decaying, hanging out on Earth. So soon as you start playing with magic, they see you as a door. They see you as entertainment. They start to cling on to you. We know this, and they start playing with you, giving you hugs. They might give you a few little things, probably nothing really special. They might tell you stuff like you'll get the man of your dreams. They might rub your back. They might rub your back. They might get into bed with you. But you don't know that entity lived a life that was horrendous or just really gross. And they have what I call psychic and spiritual diseases, and they're going to give them to you. So, the fastest way to attract or invite in that is play with not understanding what spiritual tool you're using it for fun and games, using it for entertainment purposes. So, a Ouija board is literally sold as a game. Tarot cards are sold as a game. Pendulums are sold as games. So we think, well, and we entertain each other with them. We maybe have a party and have a seance. So we see adults doing this, but we don't understand. Maybe they have a lot of experience. So besides learning and being fascinated and being educated, there is there are elements of fun. There are elements of entertainment. But it quickly goes wrong when you a negative emotion with with an occult tool for games spells trouble. I'm sad, I'm lonely. I want to talk to my old dead boyfriend. Pull out the Ouija board. Okay. How many entities are waiting to fill your body, fill your aura, fill, you know, so sometimes you have to be in the appropriate headspace, an emotional space. You have to have your personal baggage rearranged, worked out, and understood before you play with these tools. So, fire is a tool. One match burns a house down. Are matches dangerous? No, it's just a match. Are cards dangerous? Is the Ouija board dangerous? No, they're just tools. They become dangerous when you're not being responsible for yourself. They become dangerous when you want to escape reality, when you want to do something with these tools that maybe you have that feeling deep inside, you probably shouldn't be doing it. Could be the day, could be the desire, could be you're imbalanced, could be you're intoxicated. All these little things add up, and what you do is you open yourself up to have nasty energy dumped into your soul. Then you think it's a spiritual experience, okay? So this happens in spiritual groups all the time. This happens in shaman circles, people taking medicine plants with the best intentions, and then they're dumped into by gross, low level entities that are vibrationally matching the group. So the illusion is we're there for spirituality, we're there for fun and games, but the reality is no one's being responsible with their baggage. They haven't done their shadow work. They're spiritually bypassing. They're expecting things for free. You haven't earned it. So that's when we get into a lot of trouble. Okay. So that very first most important thing is wizardry and magic have a lot to do with willpower alone. So being a strong, willful person, knowing who you are, know what your yeses are, knowing what your nos are, living a powerful life in the 3D, in the horizontal realm, is a reflection that lets you know how strong that solar plex chakra is. Being, part of willpower is being mentally clear, mentally focused, and concentrated for a long duration, for an hour. Okay. So meditation will be your ticket to clear that garbage, to really polish your third chakra. Okay. So it can be a powerful lens. So this mental clarity, I'm never going to really do magic drunk. I'm not going to be doing it high. I'm not going to be doing it in an altered state. Those experimentations should be, I would say, experiments and explorations, but really don't have a task assigned to them, like getting my boyfriend back, or, they shouldn't be, the intention is different than interacting. Yeah, everyone knows that you're not supposed to drunk call. Don't drunk call your ex, right? Don't drunk call a spiritual entity. Okay, so next thing, you're going to work with spirits and entities. Humans aren't the best thing to start off with. Relatives aren't the best thing to start off with. We all know we have relatives that we won't forgive, okay, that we won't forget, that have left trauma scars on us, and we rather run away. So that's a lot of energy, a lot of trauma that you might have to be dealing with, a lot of negativity. So it's probably better to work with elemental spirits. If you have a natural element, fire, water, earth, or air, present in your environment, the energy, the consciousness, the spirit of it is there as well. So when I'm working with air element, I just open up my window and I go, all right, air elements are here. Now I'm automatically starting to work with that energy and frequency. So you want to discover what element you naturally work with and maybe have contact with the elemental being before you level up your game and start working with angels and demons. So elemental spirits is the foundation. So I work with fire. I've worked with other elements, and I knew it was going to be fire when I was a kid. I had a dream about meeting a person, like a being made out of fire, when I was little. And then I went on this magical journey and tried all the other elements and tried all these other things, all these other systems. And then I've come full circle back to fire. And then my own personal angel is a fire angel. So, and so that's an example of knowing your element. And it also makes sense that I had to go on a learning curve uh, of understanding other systems and other elements and the whole magical thing in order to then be in a position where I could respect fire, where I could understand fire, a fire angel. Okay. It's like if you show up too early to class, you're unprepared. If you show up late to class, you're unprepared. You have to be right on time. And so there is a development process. Maybe you're not mentally mature enough. Maybe you're not emotionally mature enough. Maybe you're not socially mature enough. So I wasn't emotionally and socially mature enough when I first met my fire angel when I was a kid. And my behavior in that first interaction was completely inappropriate and embarrassing. I left feeling humiliation, self humiliation. So I felt ashamed of myself for my behavior. It took a whole lifetime to understand the psychology behind my behavior, to forgive myself, and then to also realize it wasn't important. So, usually, when you're dealing with higher beings, they have a stronger sense of neutrality and objectivity. Uh, it's been my experience that my angel's objectivity and neutrality is so powerful and strong, kind of leaves you feeling cold. Have you? It kind of leaves you feeling rejected. So don't really expect emotional emotionalism when you're dealing with higher beings. uh, they don't have it in them. They're not mammals. They're not here to bond, fertilize, reproduce, and create a little life on planet Earth that lasts 3 seconds, a blink of an eye. What emotional level could they possibly have with you? Same with the gods. When you're like assuming all this emotional familiarity, that's a huge sign that it's either a product of your own psychology, or a lower ranked being who lives in an emotional world, who speaks that language, who has the same desire to fulfill. So, my angel doesn't have human emotions. And there's that cold objectivity there. And so it can kind of take you back. You're like, are you even a real being? Are you just a reflection? Like, what are you? Like, how can I bridge that gap to relate to you? And you can't. When you're dealing with a being way more bigger and powerful, who has maybe eons of lifetimes experience of you, a knowledge, a language can't even be uttered, you might just stand in their presence in awe. And that's really all you can do when you actually summons something greater than yourself, okay? Like, we don't really understand it. When is the last time you talked to the moon? When's the last time you talked to the sun or the tree in your neighbor's backyard? We're not familiar with communicating and relating with things other than ourselves. So, which is kind of what human psychology is about, relating to yourselves as humans. Even the archetypes are just yourselves dressed up and projected on. So, yeah, that was a huge lesson right there. So, to validate your work, you can't be looking to the responses of the entities to prove that it's working, but you're going to get all that anyways. And their responses aren't validating your ego. I'm a powerful wizard because a great angel of a high rank has visited me or has noticed me. uh that that's no commentary on you. That's not really you're blessed, you're special. You know, it means nothing really. Okay? You're here, you're gone. You have what? 100-year lifespan at the most if you're lucky. You're insignificant. So that's why I I would say love your ego, take care of your ego, realize its place, but you're going to get humbled dealing with powerful beings that are beings and forces at the exact same time. So, 5 minutes, or even, I would even say a few minutes with a high ranking being will level everything that you've ever learned about magic and summoning. 5 minutes of a truly clairvoyant psychic experience will teach you so much. Uh, it will level, once again, everything you know about whatever everyone else on social media is saying about psychics and predictions and how to do it. It will level it. So you're going to be reduced to zero. You're going to be a baby. You're going to go, whoa. But at that, even though you're like being reduced, you've also been leveled up. You've tasted a whole new level of experience. And so, yeah, you've evolved and you've leveled up, but it's going to feel the opposite. You're going to feel like you've been just leveled. Um, so, I feel like your intention of why you wanted to summon that being then disappears. You're like, oh, I wanted to win my boyfriend back, or oh, I wanted this new job, or oh, I was worried about this bill, or my health. And now you're standing in front of a cosmic entity. Okay. You're like, well, everything about me is not my concern anymore. Like, I've just been opened up to a whole new world, you know? So, okay. Let's see. So I'm going to highlight, since this video is almost over, no actual summoning is required to summons. It's automatically by how you can control. It's basically who you are. The clearer and clearer you are. So I would say a little smudge and clearing out the garbage in your diet, clearing out the garbage in your vocabulary, clearing out your entertainment garbage. I'm not saying being religious about it, but you're clearing it out and you're creating room for this frequency, for this being. You're preparing your body, you're preparing your mind, you're dialing into a frequency. You're training your body to handle different forms of energy so you don't all of a sudden get sick and throw up. Okay? So a lot of what a lot of people think is negative psychic attack, um, an angry spirit, is actually your own energy reacting to the energy you're trying to bring in. Why can't I summons this? Why do I feel like I'm making it up in my mind? Because you are. Because you can't handle that frequency. It doesn't mean that being isn't as near as possible as it can get to you. Unfortunately, if it got any closer, you would get really sick and have what's called a near death experience. You might go crazy. You might find yourself in the hospital. And these are reactions of your physical body not being able to handle these types of frequencies. They're not better, they're not worse, they're not greater. It's just that your biology isn't equipped to handle that level. Everyone's body is equipped to handle fairies and elementals, the ones that you can just naturally attract and interact with. Everyone is kind of equipped, unfortunately, to summons and work with humans that have died and crossed over or floating around in the lower astrals. But it's within a range. Haven't you been around someone and you're like, I don't know why they just make me feel sick? Because their frequency might be contaminated with other things. They're a corrupted data file. They're a shell rotting away. They have a disease that might be contagious. And so your own biology can kind of tell you what you should and should not play with, what is and is not real. So having a strong gut instinct, really listening to your body, um, is really important when you're going to start to work in high magic and sorcery and whatever you'd like to call it. Um, so understand it is a process. The only real limitation is you, and all you have to do is prepare for it uh, through staying away, toxic entertainment. Like, spend your time wisely. Prepare, prepare, prepare. All you're going to do is prepare your whole life. Let's see. So, the last note is filling up your own void. When you have a void, you basically have a kick me sticker on it. If you're lonely for a partner or a long lost love, if you feel like you didn't have enough mother and father energy, if you really wished you had someone to relate to you on a friend level, like a brother or a sister, these holes in your aura are going to get filled with the toxic, low level energy. Why? Because that's the easiest energy. Toxic energy just kind of sinks like dirty water and is looking for a drain. You become the drain. So when people are unloading onto you, it's because you have these holes. So this is where psychology and therapy really help get you prepared to have better self-esteem, better willpower, better identity and purpose in life, to then level up and go to the next level. So high magic is for people training for the next dimension, kind of. They're like, yawn, boring, I've already been successful here. Now what? You know? And that happens on different levels. And so filling the void through healthy things like diet, exercise, having real friends, real family, building your own personal community, uh, and then really accepting your own flawed nature, not exactly celebrating it or humiliating it, but balancing it out and going, yeah, it is the sorrows, it is our limitations that kind of defines humans as humans. And maybe there is a healthy connection of relatability to all of us. So instead of hating ourselves and hating other humans, we can learn to care and understand. And then from this level, create a platform, moving up those horizontal bars, steps. We can start going vertical, and then we can attract more positive spirit experiences. So, literally, your desire to want to attract an angel automatically summons the ritual,